popular trends on social media, perhaps Instagram specifically, without all the stress? Well, we're going to be discussing the top social media trends you can't ignore in 2025. Yes, we're talking about the future of social media, specifically the trends we believe will dominate the next 12 months on Instagram. But we want to do it strategically and with respect to you, the content creator. So you won't feel overwhelmed trying to keep up with the recent social media trends. So let's get into it today on the latest episode of the Social Roundtable as we help you step your gram up. And today I am joined by my co-host, Social Media with Meg, and our incredible guest joining us today, the King Michelle. Welcome,
Hi,
Michelle. How is
so
everybody
happy to
doing
be
today?
here.
Awesome. We're so glad to have you here joining us, right, Megan?
So excited. It's going to be a juicy topic. I know that. I feel like this year specifically, it's been a very long run of lots of new things coming and trends popping. So we have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
so
we
excited.
definitely.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're so glad to have you here joining us today on our weekly live episode of the Social Roundtable. For those that are joining us and may not know what you are watching, this is our weekly live series on YouTube where myself and my co host, Social Media with Meg, we usually introduce one or two individuals in the world of social media, content creation, digital marketing, and so much more, all to discuss the most important topics that are related to what you want to learn more about. And today we're discussing social media trends, specifically on Instagram, that we want you to focus on and learn and figure out where you can discover it, but also at the same time, not feel burnt out and not get too stressed over these things. So, we're going to list a few different strategies that we have in mind for you guys to follow, something that will make your life a little bit easier as content creators, as well as discuss a few other questions. And obviously, open it up for you, the viewer, to answer your questions that you could send in live on our live chat. I have the chat right here on my right hand side. So please go ahead and discuss whatever you would like to discuss. We have a featured poll right now as well. So if you're interested to join in on the poll, you can go ahead and answer. The question is, do you create Instagram Reels based on trends? Go ahead. That's a simple yes or no question. So go ahead in the comments on the live chat right now. Go ahead and answer that. And we'll be sharing a few different comments that you guys will be putting in during our conversation. So we're going to get into it, but I want to share a little bit of how this show is going to actually flow. But before I get into that, I want to take a moment and let my guest and co-host introduce themselves. So, Michelle, if you can, please take a moment to introduce yourself. What do you do and who you are?
Hi, of course, I would love to. I'm Michelle King. I'm a founder and CEO of my social media agency, Contalp. I do social media management for businesses and brands and also Instagram strategy. I specialize in Instagram. It's been my favorite platform, and that's what we utilize the most for our business and for our clients to get them the results that they want for their business, whether that's more sales, more engagement, a bigger audience, reaching more people. So, yeah, that's basically what I do.
I love that, and we're so glad to have you here. I was trying to pull it up in time to show the audience a bit of your Instagram profile. I'm gonna see if I can get it here on the screen. But we do have, if you are not following her just yet, please make sure you do. And you can find her at the King Michelle.
uh,
Do you guys see it on
thank
the
you.
screen?
I don't yet.
You know, yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully it comes up on the screen in a moment. But nonetheless, you could always go and check her out at the King Michelle on
Yeah.
Instagram and give her a good follow. We hope that you are going to be learning and join her community to learn a little bit more, as well as, of course, my co-host Megan. Please go ahead and share who you are and what it is that you do.
Wonderful. Oh, I see it now. Oh,
Oh, well, and then I
just in time.
little delay, a little delay.
Hey, it's all good. Well, yes, my name is Meg from Social Media with Meg, and I help content creators, entrepreneurs, and small businesses grow and scale their brand on social media with a heavy highlight on Instagram and helping them create content that attracts their ideal people and makes it fun to be on social media again.
Yes, I love it when you say that, to make it fun on social media, because I think sometimes we
Yeah,
focus so
that's
much
so
on the
good.
business aspect. It's we forget that we should be having fun with a lot of these things. I was gonna start to introduce myself, but my pup here on the side, like he wants to jump in and introduce himself. So hopefully he doesn't get too loud here. I apologize if he does. For those that are watching, I am Heston of Social Varsity. I like to say the king of lives, and I'm working really hard towards that, not just on Instagram, but also on YouTube as well. I specialize in DM automation. I love the opportunity to help you work smarter, not harder, with ManyChat and chatbots so that you can actually prioritize your time in regards to other areas of the business and let DM automation take care of the rest. So that is what I like to do. And you can find me at social.varsity. But today you are finding me with these beautiful women right here that are intelligent and know what they're talking about in regards to social media trends that we are going to be getting into in a moment. So let me get my notes here to give you guys an idea of how this is going to work out. I have a couple questions that I'm going to ask Meagen and Michelle that I know that you guys are interested in, all around the topic of social media trends. But if you do have a question, please feel free to use the live chat, send in your questions, or if you just want to comment towards us as well, please go ahead and get lively, engage in a positive way in the live chat, and we will try to respond to as many of them as we can. With that being said, let me see if there's anything else I have to make sure to get out of the way. Yeah, I think we're pretty good. I think we're ready to get into this conversation, Michelle and Meagen. So, I'm gonna ask my first question to you, Michelle. Let's see right here.
Yes.
Pretty much, we're talking about social media trends because we want to make sure that we come at it in a very smart and intelligent way, because creator burnout is real and those affected by it increase daily. More and more creators on social media are feeling overwhelmed trying to keep up with all of the social media trends that's going on right now. So, how can creators stay trendy without feeling stressed? My question to you, Michelle: what strategies do you recommend for businesses and creators to stay ahead of trends without getting overwhelmed?
Amazing. Okay, I love this question. So, I think there are a couple of trends that we're gonna see all over on social media and Insta as well. And I think one of those things that has been also happening in 2024 is quality content versus the quantity. So I think it's going to be easier maybe for people to also stay ahead of trends and create content, because quality content it's going to get prioritized more. So content that has more value in it, more long form content, hopefully, with the introduction of the 3 minute reels on Instagram. TikTok has had it for a while, and YouTube, of course, the king of long form content. I think it's going to make a comeback because people are now looking for more quality, they're looking for more connection, they're looking for better content to consume, because there is just so much content out there to be seen. So I think in order to really stand out, you need to focus on your quality of the content, the information that you're sharing, the resources that you're providing, more so than just, posting to post, right? So it's kind of like a trend, but maybe also like anti-trend in a bit, where kind of like you don't need to follow every trend, you don't need to constantly be on top of things and feel overwhelmed because there's a new trending audio, because you know that with quality content that you create, you can still get results, right? And that is going to benefit everyone. It's going to benefit creators, business owners, and the audience as well that just want better content.
I, I love the way that you focus on quality, because there's that obvious distinction, or the constant debate of quality versus quantity. And I think you brought up some really interesting points in regards to focusing on quality, but in a very smart way, so that we're not so overworked. We're trying to build
Yeah.
out like these routines in a way that is kind of strategic for us to do it in that smart way. I love that. Is there an example, as you kind of described with that? Is there an example of how you do it yourself?
Yeah. So, for example, when I first started focusing on Instagram, I posted every day, sometimes multiple times a day, just to feel like I, can get ahead and to get the results that I want. But now I see that for myself and also for my clients that I'm managing, and just in general, what I'm seeing is that people can get results with just like posting a couple times a week, like 3 to 4 times a
Yeah.
week. They don't need to be active every day. They don't need to be posting every second, and they still grow incredible communities, and their audience is really engaged, and their content is getting seen by more people, even if they have a small account. So I think that is like one of the benefits of quality content. You can create less of it as long as it's good and it's going to resonate with more people.
Very well stated. I love the way that you kind of brought that back home in regards to resonating with more people on quality content. Megan, I know that you have a great answer for us as well. So I want to remind the audience the question right now. The question is, what strategies do you recommend for businesses and creators to stay ahead of trends without getting overwhelmed?
I definitely agree with what Michelle said of, making sure that you have that quality content first, which really comes into play when you think about your overall strategy. You should already have, set ideas or content that you are going to be posting throughout the week or the month that aren't trends. That's like your core value that you're giving to your audience. And then for myself at least, I fill in with trends when I have that time, when I have the extra energy, or when I have a great idea that just comes to me, or a cool trend just seems to fit my niche perfectly, and it's simple to create. I don't rely on the trends. I rely on the fundamentals of my strategy, my messaging first, and then I add in the trends. And I mean, a lot of the times trends are funny or entertaining, and it's easy for you to just quickly adapt to them and create something if you know your audience. So my biggest tip here is, if you want to stay on top of trends, know who you're speaking to, know what struggles they have, know what goals they have, know the funny relatable things that they can say, oh my gosh, that's me too. And that way you can really use the, 3 to 5 reoccurring relatable struggles over and over for every trend. You just change it a little bit to fit
Yeah.
that trend. But I mean, I do this all of the time. I just posted one, I think, was it Friday this weekend, about, calling up Instagram, asking if the algorithm is allergic to my content. Like, I know that my ideal person struggles with the algorithm and wants to really master the algorithm. So using that trend in audio that was, it was blowing up right then when I decided to use it, it was easy because I knew that it worked with my audience struggles and a relatable thing that they care about. And then you can teach a little bit more or connect a little bit more in the copy on screen or your caption. But allowing yourself to stay on top of everything really comes down to knowing who you're speaking to and being clear with that message.
Knowing who you're speaking to is such an underrated key tip in regards to, and I wouldn't even just apply it to just Instagram. I think just in regards to social media, a business owner, knowing your target audience and who you're speaking to, and then learning how to communicate with them, because each of these individuals are, they receive messages differently. So the fact that you're talking about that in regards to not overworking yourself but to create and work with these social media trends is such a great tip to make it relatable to them. Because when we come across these pieces of content like you're describing, we see ourselves in it, kind of as you're stating, like we're saying, oh, I could see myself doing that, or I've experienced this before. So it's very relatable in that aspect, and I love the fact that you brought it up in that manner, because um, I don't think that's something that everybody can deny. I think that's something that we could all work around and figure out in the best way using those tips that you just shared. So thank you so much for that answer. I want to see, hoping that the sharing works, because I wanted to bring up a quote here that I happen to come to find. Not really a quote, but actually a statistic. And it's a surprising statistic that I think a lot of people should possibly be aware of. So I'm going to put it here to the screen before I get to my answer. But before, or as it does, okay, I think it's on the screen now.
Yeah.
So you might see right here on the screen the stress of content creation. Pretty much, this is coming from, I believe it's Tasty Edits, which is a video producer app, and they polled their audience. 75% of content creators polled by this video platform stated that they are stressed, and 22% of them are stressed very often. I don't know about you guys, but that seems way too high of a number in this position as a content creator. That is something that should not be the norm. But unfortunately, in today's world where we have Instagram, we have Threads, we have TikTok, we have so many different platforms to try to keep up with and create content for, that it's getting so hard and difficult to actually manage to do a part of the business that should just be a small part, and it's almost like it's encompassing our entire business in a way. We feel like sometimes I hear that phrase. I don't know if you've heard the phrase, Megan and Michelle, but it's like you have to be a part, you have to work on the business, but not in the business 24/7. And it's something that I feel like a lot of people are getting to the norm of working in the business, even if they are the founder or the president of these companies, which is just not the way to do it. If you ask me, I feel like that is absolutely not the right way to do it. I want to share my tip in regards to this question. Um, I like to, I think we've all done it. We've all had this doom scroll where we're on Instagram, we're on the TikTok tab, and we're just scrolling by. And I feel like we could put that time to better use. So what I like to do is I like to scroll with attention whenever I have free time. Like if I'm watching a sports game, or I'm watching football, this is about to be the Super Bowl soon, and we know they got tons of commercials, or a soccer game or whatever the sport may be. I like to fill in that time during the commercials, and I'll scroll a little bit on Instagram, but I'm scrolling with intent. So I'm looking for particular pieces of content that I find interesting. I think that I could reutilize myself. And then I save it to the Instagram collection, and I'll name the collection. I name it Reels Research. So even when I see the folder, I'm thinking, okay, this is for Reels Research. I'm not going to go down the doom scroll and start liking a bunch of dog videos and going down a rabbit hole. So I want to say avoid the doom scroll as best as you can. Give yourself a time limit or some form of constraint, like I did with the commercials in between the sports matches. Save the post based on editing techniques. Maybe it's a certain audio that you come across on a reel. I think that would be interesting. Save whatever captures your interest, and then come back to it at a certain point in time when you're ready to get when you're prepared to actually create a post. I think you could come back at that point and then just spend some time in that same collection and just be inspired by what you found earlier. Maybe you might have found it during the week, you might have found it the day before. Get inspired from it and naturally let the idea come to you instead of feeling like you need to do research at a certain point in time. You're like, you have to post on Monday, and you wait till Monday to figure out what the post is, and then next thing you know, you don't have any ideas. And we've kind of all experienced that to some degree. So that was my idea in regards to trying to stay ahead of trends, because when you're in that feed, you're seeing all of the latest trends, and you could just save it for later. You can save it for the next day or whatever like that. So that's what I like to suggest for everybody. When you're
Yeah,
ready to create that post, scroll through the collection only for inspiration. Yeah, please go ahead, Megan.
that's such a good tip. And having intention behind what you're actually doing on social media. I'm always saying that. Like, I don't really consume blindly that often, but I'll add a tip there. It is fun still sometimes to just scroll mindlessly and, enjoy the content you're consuming that maybe doesn't have to do with your niche. And so when that is the case, I personally have my business page and my personal page, and I just know when I'm on one, when I'm on my business one, I'm not scrolling like just to scroll, right? I have an intention behind it. And on my personal page, you said dog videos. I'm like, are you on my personal page, explore page? Like, are you watching me? Because that's all it is. So I know that on that page, I can scroll mindlessly, and that also will help you see a more variety of trends because you're going to see
Yeah.
other niches creating different types of trends, and you can take that trend and then fit it into your niche.
Do you find yourself doom scrolling as well, Michelle? or are you like very
Yeah.
intentional with your scrolling on Instagram?
All the time. My guilty pleasure is TikTok. So I get caught up on TikTok more than I do on Insta because, again, like Megan said, when I'm on my like professional business account, it's all business. So
Hmm.
yeah, I usually doom scroll on TikTok, but it's also good because there are trends on TikTok happening that will come to Instagram soon. So I'm always like, oh, I love
Yeah.
this. Let me like keep this in mind. This will be like a trend that maybe like we can do as well. And also like I have my personal account that is also just like filled with all the memes and the dog videos and yeah, cute things
There's so many of
that have
them.
nothing to
There's
do
so many
with
of them.
business.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all been through that. But I love the tips that you all shared in regards to that question about strategies we recommend for businesses and creators to stay ahead of trends without getting overwhelmed. Guys, please take these strategies that we just listed to heart. Hope you took some notes on them, or you could just rewatch this video on YouTube. And speaking of, if you guys have not yet, please remember to like this video if you're getting any insight or value from this conversation with myself, Megan, and Michelle. Please go ahead and like and subscribe if you are interested to find more content just like this on this channel. Um, Also, if you're just not tuning in and you don't even know what you're watching, this is the Social Roundtable. Let me remind you guys what you are watching. This is our weekly live series, myself and Megan host. And today we are so glad to be joined by the King Michelle to discuss social media trends that you can't ignore in 2025. We just discussed all about the strategies that we want to recommend to you to not be overworked. We don't want you to be stressed trying to catch up with all of these reels and trends that are going on because there's so many of them. But we're going to move over to my next question in a moment. I'm going to remind you guys how we do it here on the Social Roundtable. After my next question, Megan is going to lead off with a trivia game for you guys to respond as well. We're going to have a little bit of fun in regards to that. Michelle, we like to have fun with our guests, so you'll be taking part in this little trivia game as well. Um,
Perfect. I
and
love fun.
please, and as a little reminder to you guys, we want you guys to make sure that you are not just staying here and then leaving afterwards to get this information, but we want to make sure that you guys are actually following with our respective communities. If you want to do that, the best way you could do that is by tapping on the link in the description. Or let me see if I could get it here. I have a QR code I would love to share with you guys. And what you can do is simply, if you're not watching this on a phone, if you watch on your laptop or your TV, please go ahead and scan the QR code that you see on the screen now. If you scan that code, what's going to happen is our chatbot on Instagram is going to send you a message with all of the information related to this YouTube video, as well as a few bonuses and other resources that you might be interested as well. So please go ahead and check out our chatbot automation by scanning this QR code, or if you are watching from a phone, simply tap the link in the description. So we are going to go over to our next question now. And with that next question, I'm going to ask you this question first, Megan. Let me just kind of tee it up for those that are wondering what we're going to be getting into. There were a few social media trends that were very surprising in 2024, and others not so much due to announcements and features. That's just the way of the business. So, with that said, with the latest updates and changes that Instagram has made lately, and there was a lot just in the past, I believe, 10 days, we can figure out which trends will dominate social media in 2025. So, Megan, I'd like to ask you, what's one key social media trend that you think will surprise everyone in 2025 on Instagram?
Okay, so I'm not sure if it's necessarily a surprise for everyone, but it is going to be pretty different. I think we're going to see a lot more connection through our content. So, more talking to the camera, more slower videos, not snappy, not just getting the watch time, but actually having that deeper purpose behind the content and balancing that with using AI at the same time. So I think we're going to see more people talking to camera, but there's going to be small things that AI will be doing in the background, or as effects with maybe the editing style or the specific like little things that are popping up or the automations that they're using. They're going to be using it in a way that still makes it connection with your audience, still allows you to have that personal touch. So I think we're going to move away from the faceless style, which is still going to be a thing, whether people like it or not, it's going to be a thing. But I think we're going to have a strong push for the content creators who are storytelling, who are connecting, whether that's, actually face to camera or more in the DMs, but actually talking with your people.
I feel like you might have read a little bit of my notes. So,
Yeah, me too.
but I
You
went a
took
little bit
the
of a
words
different
right
way.
out of
I
my
went a
mouth.
little bit of a different way. So, but no, I obviously agree with that. And I think you shared an interesting aspect in regards to, I guess, the rebellious aspect of AI in a way, because AI has been so heavily adapted, and we want a little bit more, as you're saying, like a human connection is what a lot of people might be seeking. So I think you're spot on. I went a different way in regards to my answer, but we'll go to that in a moment. Megan, I want to ask you if you have a question for the audience to answer in the live chat. I see a few people in the live chat. Shout out to Greg. We have our um uh constant viewer here, very strong supporter,
Yes.
Greg. And I see a few of you guys are also in the live chat. So we're gonna ask a question to you guys. Please go ahead and I'll respond to what you guys are stating. Megan, do you have something for them to answer?
Well, hi, Craig. Thank you for being here, and everybody here live and everybody rewatching. But I am curious because we're here sharing our predictions, and there's a lot that's going to be happening. Do you have any specific thing that you think is going to be a huge trend for 2025 for any platform? What do you see happening, whether it's overall or a specific platform in 2025 in social media? We're curious to know. If you want to let us know in the comments.
Awesome. I'm gonna read a few of the answers as I get them. I just actually posted that question in the live chat. I'll respond to you guys as you guys go ahead and comment on that. But before we do, I want to go to Michelle and ask the same question. What is one key social media trend that you think will surprise people, everyone, in 2025 on Instagram?
Okay, I love this one because I have an interesting one. Because I think this is going to surprise a lot of people, especially business owners, because I have been getting on calls with them. And usually, every time when people come on a call with me or they just like ask me about their social media and I ask them for their goals, like, what is your goal with Instagram, with social media? Everyone is talking about followers. So they always want to get to 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, or whatever their next milestone is. That is what everyone is talking about. And I think that is going to change. Um, with the Instagram algorithm change that we had in August as well, where they started prioritizing content for smaller accounts as well, follower count may not be anymore like what it was. So I think people's goals and priorities will have to change a little bit to not focus on that follower count and just the number. And like Megan said, to focus on community, on connection, and not maybe just like chasing those views or those follows, but actually focusing on the connection that you're creating with talking videos, with more long form videos, with something that's a bit slower, but builds you a true connection. Because, like Megan said, like those faceless videos, have some sort of a limit because they can't do that. They're great for like some things, but they have that limit where they can't really connect. They can't really connect people that way. Your audience is not going to feel as connected with you in that way. So I think we're going to see a lot of people noticing that followers are not what they used to be, and maybe trying to focus and having like different goals for social media instead. So yeah.
I think you are spot on in regards to the the change of priority in regards to followers. And I think we started to see a little bit in 2024, but in 2025, I think it's really going to escalate in regards to putting our focus on other KPIs, like you stated. What those KPIs would be, I still think that leaves a lot to be figured out just yet. And I mean that applied to all platforms, not just Instagram, but even YouTube and TikTok. The power of, or I should say, the strength of the number of the follower is not as important anymore nowadays. And we've seen this across various platforms where you could have 1 million followers and still have a problem selling to that audience compared to other profiles or accounts that have maybe a fraction of that and they are selling like hotcakes because they know how to reach that strong, powerful community that they've established with a smaller audience. So I think you are absolutely right. You guys are kind of on the same realm in a way in regards to the change of human nature and connection in a way in regards to what we're going to be seeking in 2025. So I love both of those answers right there. I want to go to I did see a couple of comments here. Greg stated in regards to the question, he says, I think the 3 minute length is going to be great. Um, you're all sued to shorter we're all, I guess, used to shorter content, and he's absolutely right about that. They say that we have a very short attention span, and I used to feel like it's getting shorter and shorter by the day. But I do think, as you kind of mentioned, Michelle and Megan, we're going to start seeking out a lot of the longer form content, not necessarily like an hour long or anything like that, but something that allows us to connect deeper to other individuals and get to know them better. And which is funny because that's kind of where I was going in regards to my answer to this question. I think that one of the trends that you'll see in 2025 that might be a surprise is live streaming, which is exactly what we're doing right now on YouTube. But I'm seeing it grow on so many other platforms. And there's a very strong aspect to it as well in regards to social selling on streaming that has been coming from the Eastern culture on like in the Asian countries, and it's moving, it's been shifting here as well to the States. And it's been crazy over there in regards to terms of marketing and money being made. And I can see it coming here to the States as well. Because kind of what you guys hinted on, I feel like there's going to be this need for authenticity. We hear this word all the time, to the point where some people might be sick of hearing it, but it is stated a lot because it is absolutely true, more now than ever before with the introduction and adaptation of AI. So I feel like a lot more people are just going to be naturally seeking direct and real human connections, as you've kind of both expressed. But as a content format with live streaming, I think that there's no better way, and I've said this numerous times, there's no better way for you to actually work through that phase, the marketing phase you probably have heard before, know, like, trust. It's a very common practice in regards to marketing. I don't feel like there's any other content format that does it better and does it faster than live streaming. Just in the spare time that you've probably been visiting and watching on this very IG live, I'm sorry, this YouTube live, you've gotten to know at least one of us new. You know, maybe you are my audience member and you've got to know Megan and Michelle a little bit. Within 5 minutes, we've said something that you've liked. You got to know us a little bit more. And hopefully, we're sharing information that you trust now to the point where you could go back and follow us and become a member of our community. And that's how it's kind of all changing now in regards to social media. It's so hard to get people to hit that follow button now because you have to earn it more now than ever before. People are unsubscribing and unfollowing from people and accounts quicker than ever before on social media. And you got to work very hard to earn that following. And I think live streaming is a great way to do that because, like I stated, they get to know you on such a deeper level. And when you add in the selling aspect, it's just going to make its way here from the Eastern culture in the Asian countries in America in a very big way, especially depending on the status of TikTok. If TikTok happens to actually stick around in the States, I could see it really working well with like TikTok shops and probably a few new features that really push it to the next level. And obviously, we know Instagram is going to borrow whatever feature that TikTok has created in regards to that. So I'm thinking live streaming is going to be the next true trend that we should probably start focusing on now, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. I see a few other people. Yeah, a few other people are in the comments. Thank you guys for joining into the live chat and sharing some love. A lot of people are shouting you out as well, Michelle. So yeah, that's what we have to say on that. I'm curious if anybody had anything else, like any honorable mentions or anything else that you wanted to share in regards to what we stated.
I
I
agree with
would just say that I
everything.
think that we're going to continue to see the little things that, Instagram's coming out with a lot of changes at once. I don't see that necessarily slowing down. So just try to take that like that frustration that you have towards all of the things happening at once and give yourself grace. Number one, like you don't have to do all of the things all at once, and number two, like know that everybody's testing them out at the same time, right? Like even the experts, even people who are well versed in social media, whatever platform that is, or marketing or branding, business, etc., they're still testing things all of the time. So even if it's new to them and new to you, like we've got to understand that we all are beginners when we have a new feature or a new thing come out or a new trend. And sometimes it works out for us and sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. So don't be so hard on yourself. Just a little pep talk there of, it's okay that all of this is happening at once. And that's the exciting thing about social media, is that it does change and it keeps things interesting. So people complain about it, but if we didn't have changes, then people would complain about that too.
That is so true. That is so true. It's sad. Michelle, did you want? I thought you might want to just chime in there as well. Was there something else that you wanted to add before we move over to our little trivia game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I completely agree with all of the trends that we shared here. I think they are true for multiple platforms as well. And I think that is also something that is important to diversify if you can, if you have the capacity to do so, to diversify your platforms as well. Because, like, the TikTok situation in the US, that can happen with any platform. These are audiences that we don't own. So at least it's really smart to diversify and to build an audience on multiple platforms, and also to build your email list, something that you own, that you know that you can rely on, so you don't feel like you constantly have to post and have to overwhelm yourself and burn yourself out just to create content, to get people, new people into your world and your business.
Very well said. I completely agree with that. And I hope that you guys were able to actually get some value, get some insight from our conversation here today, all about what we believe will be the top social media trends that you just can't ignore in 2025. Look out for, we will be reposting this live as well. So if you missed any part of it, please make sure you are staying tuned to this channel. Appreciate your answers, Megan and Michelle, in regards to that. We're going to move over to our trivia game in a moment. Just want to reiterate for you guys, if you are, oh, come on now, buddy. Apologize. I got, he's like, okay, I want to be a part of the show too. All right, all right. Okay, so we are going to move over to our trivia game. Megan, I'm going to let you take control as I put my mute on and see if I can handle him here for a moment.
You bet.
All right.
All right, awesome. Okay, so very simple game here. We like to play it every week. A would you rather? And I'm going to ask the question and then I'm going to go to you, Michelle, if you could answer A or B, which one you would rather. And then Heston will give his answer. And everybody here in the audience, whether you're watching live or on the replay, we'd love to know your answer as well. Feel free to type it out in the comments or just comment A or B, whatever is easiest for you. So, number one, would you rather A, lose all of your followers on like your favorite platform, lose all of your followers on your favorite platform, or B, lose all of the content you've ever posted on that platform? Michelle, what would you choose?
Oh my God, this is really hard. Okay. Well, I
She
would
doesn't
go
give easy
with
questions.
B, lose all the content. There are some bad things on there. They can be lost. It's okay. So we can start fresh in 2025 with new content, with better content. So
Love that. Yes, great mindset there. Heston, what would you say?
I might have to agree with that one. I might have to go with B, because the idea of losing all followers, I feel like it's just like me starting over a brand new account, which isn't, you know, you could go ahead and do that. There's nothing wrong with
yeah.
that, but I feel like if you lose all content, it's almost like hitting the reset button in a different manner because your community is still there behind you. And as we were kind of stating, if you don't need a necessarily large following, but if you have some form of strong community behind you, they'll be just as supportive. So I'll choose B.
Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna have to say that too. It's hard, but I have a lot of it backed up, or copies of it, just maybe scattered. But I have it somewhere in the ideas. So that's also a reminder to everyone: if you don't have things saved, save it. Make copies. Make sure you have drafts so that just in case something happened, you're able to. And I think Craig says B as well. So that is across the board so far. If you have a different answer, let us know. Thank you for that one. We will do one more here. Would you rather A, batch all of your content for the whole year in 1 week, or B, create new content every day for the whole year? Michelle, what would you say?
Ooh, that's a hard one because
No
I
milk.
want to go with A, just so I can feel peace. But if you're creating content every day, you're really on top of things. So maybe the content would be better if you create it every day. So maybe we'll have to sacrifice a little bit. But yeah, I would say, yeah, let's go with A. Let's plan it out. Let's batch it out for the whole year and see what happens.
Awesome. Okay, love that. I like the thought process behind it because yeah, there's positives of both, right?
Yeah.
Heston, what would you say?
Now, a little bit of background. I've actually did both. I've did both. I'm that madman that has actually done a year's worth of content. Maybe not exactly in a week, but it might have been a couple of weeks. But I've had an account, a fitness account, motivational one with quotes, and I created an entire year, and I've done it more than once. So
Mhm.
I'm actually going to lean with that one. I would rather do it for a year because what I realized that from when I did that strategy, I don't necessarily need to create or use that content. I at least have it prepared in case things happen down the
Mhm.
line. But it gave me so much other time to focus on other things in the business, on the account, that it opened up brand new opportunities for me. Whereas kind of what the majority of us are doing right now, and I believe everybody would agree. Please go ahead and let me know in the live chat. But I think everybody, for the most part, is creating content on a daily basis right now, on a day to day, and it can get a little bit grueling, as we were kind of just talking about in regards to overburn and stress in regards to keeping up with these trends. But admittedly, if I do it for a year, I can't keep up with trends because trends change so quickly that if I had
Yeah.
something that was really popular in January, by February it's probably no longer even a thing, and we've seen how that goes. So you probably won't be able to apply social media trends to that strategy, but I think that would help out in the long run to avoid burnout.
Mm, yeah, very true. Such good points. It's a hard one for me because I definitely agree with what has been said about, reducing that burnout and reducing the stress. But I feel like I enjoy it a little bit. I'm like, it's like a purpose to show up and be there and be present. Um, so I'm gonna say I'd rather do B. That definitely is stressful because at the best, when I really have things organized and prepped and planned for a couple weeks to a month, I definitely feel better and I am able to be more productive in other areas. But something about creating daily, I love it. So I would say B. Thank you everyone for playing along there.
Yeah, so we got a few. Laura Brooks responded B as well. Yeah, a lot of it's interesting. I think Greg said he's gonna go with A with lives. I don't know how you'll work that out, Greg. That's interesting. Let me know how that's gonna work out for you. But yes, I definitely appreciate all of the answers in the live chat. Thank you very much. Um, We generally would have a Q&A at this point in time, but I did not see any questions from our broadcast channel. So if you have any questions at the moment, while we have the amazing King Michelle joining us, and if you want her to answer some questions as well as myself and Megan, please go ahead in the live chat and send in a couple questions before we end the live. But as we await for more questions, Michelle, I'd like to give you an opportunity to share if there's anything that you would like to provide for the audience to know about you, if you have any offerings, products, or services coming up, and as well where they can find you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. So, yeah, they can find me on Insta at the King Michelle. And like I mentioned, I do my main offer is social media management. And my social media agency, it's me and my partner, Philip. We do social media management for brands and businesses. So, we handle their accounts, we create content for them, and we manage their social media. So, that they can focus on other important things in their business and leave the content part to professionals. So, if you are interested in outsourcing your social media efforts, feel free to reach out on Instagram or yeah, check out our website, contalp.com as well for all of our services as well.
Awesome. And as you guys probably see on the screen now, that I actually got the share working at the right time. We have their pages that you could go and check them out. I will make sure to actually add that link as well, the content LP one as well to the description. You will be able to find any of the links that we are referring to in the description. As well as, let me see if I could get this here. We have a special QR code that if you are interested to scan, if you are not watching this on on a phone, you can actually scan this QR code. And what is going to happen? You're going to be introduced to my chatbot, Brad, and he will send you some information, resources, and links, all in regards and related to our show, the Social Roundtable. So if you have a moment, the QR code is on the screen. Go ahead and take your phone out and scan that and get to know Brad, my chatbot, and he sends you some links, including an Instagram guide from Meagen, a free guide. We're not charging you for it, as well as a few other resources and links. So please go ahead and check that out when you have an opportunity to do so. Let me go back to the studio to see if there were any other questions that had come in. I didn't see any other questions that came in. I saw nothing but nice regards and thanks and appreciation from the audience for both you, Michelle, and Megan for joining us today. So I guess with that being said, we are going to close down the shop here. On this conversation that we had, it was a successful live stream. We didn't have any hiccups today. Thank you very much, YouTube. Thank you very much, Michelle, for being the first guest that had to join us and not have any hiccups due to any other technical difficulties.
You're our
Yeah,
go-to
my
So
pleasure.
yes, so we want to say thank you once again, Michelle, for joining us. As she shared with you guys where you can find her, what she's up to, and how you could join into her community. Megan, if you please, you could do the same as well before we sign off.
Wonderful. Well, yes, you guys can find me on Instagram, social media with Meg, as well as Threads. And here on YouTube, I am Megan Harriman. Social media with Meg was taken. You know, one of those accounts that doesn't have anything posted. You're like, really? Yep.
Oh,
So
I hate
just
that.
Megan Harriman.
I hate it when that happens. You know, you think you have it, nobody else is going to take it, and bam, somebody has it.
Yep.
No, but make
And
sure
they
you
don't
guys are
even
checking
use
her
it.
out
That's
at
the
her
worst.
YouTube channel. Um, as well as you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Threads at social.varsity on Instagram, and Threads, just social varsity here on YouTube. And if you are watching at the moment right now, you got any value from this conversation, any insight, if you enjoyed the content just as it is because you like what we were stating, please go ahead and replay this video if you haven't yet, after this. But also hit the subscribe button to join us for more episodes of the Social Roundtable. Myself and Megan host this every Monday at 12 p.m. with special guests just like Michelle joining us to talk about the latest topics in the world of social media, digital marketing, content creation, and more. So we would love to have you back here next Monday for our next guest, as well as join into our broadcast channel on Instagram, where we share a little bit more behind the scenes, make announcements, and everything else related to the show, except for this show you catch here on YouTube. So thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Michelle. I hope that you guys move forward and have a great day today. As I always like to say, step your gram up. All right, guys, you guys have a good one. Stay on the stream for a moment, Megan and Michelle, and everybody else. Have a great one. We will see you next week on Monday. Take care and have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. All right. I think that was a great one. We are